Welcome to another Houdini tutorial. Today we are going to make ice growing effect. For this we are going to use a simple logo and we can create ice crystals and some mesh which is look like ice. So for this just create geometry node and just call in my logo node or mesh. So I have this ABC file. This one. So for this it's a simple logo which is I have made from using path and transform this node to a suitable size and just rotate this upward, and you can use this move to center so that it can in the center, and rotate this 90 degree. Okay, so this is like this. So it has some nice edges and all that. Its mesh is very rough. So for this I am going to use a scatter node to create these points and convert this to mesh. Okay, now you can see I have these points. You can always increase or decrease these points. So for this I'm using very low density nodes, and next we are going to create these ice crystals which is formed or growing. So for this I am going to make a cone kind of shape by using line. So for this I'm going to use this line node. Okay, right click, line. Okay, let's display this and open its point variations. So you can use always like 10 or depending upon the detail. So I'm using this 10, and next we are going to like jitter this value. So for jittering this value I'm going to use point jitter. So let me just use point jitter because we want these icicles of like little bit of random. So you can use like very low values like these, and you can always change this different kind of structure whatever you look or feels good. Then use resample node for increasing these points. Then after that use carve node. Carve node is used for like growing this from like this. And then after that I'm going to use another node which is point warp node. So for this let me just create this point warp node. Like this, and before going to this I'm going to use a radius attribute. So let's create attribute, create node, and just create a radius attribute, and it's float and it has like 0.1 default value. And in carve node or in resample node, use this output curve UV node. And if we use like polywire, you can see that these are, we are going to create this wire node, so it is used at radius. Okay, so it will use this attribute. So now we have this radius and it has like this uniform, I want like cone like structure. So go to point fork node and use bind and use this curve U, which is this attribute curve U, and another which is radius, so another bind, use radius, and multiply this, okay, this and this, and export, bind, export radius. So if I connect this, so it have like this. So I want to control these values, so I can use ramp attribute, ramp parameter, and use spline. Okay, so come outside and here you have this spline. You can control the like structure of this cone, how you want these cones. And if you want, like, you can add multiple values like sharp, or you want like very thin like structure, you can always use. If you want like very little, you can use these kind of structures. So you can always vary these values. So we have this polywire structure. So let me just increase this height and this. So I have this ice crystal which is I'm going to use in this logo format. Before doing this, I'm going to transfer some values from here to this cull node. So for that I'm going to use another node which is attribute transfer node to transfer colors. So for that, let me just create another node. Let me just create color node, and convert this to like black. And for transferring another, I am going to use this sphere to transfer colors from one object to this one. So let me just use sphere, and always keep save these files. So okay, so let me just recall this value. Okay, so now it has this. So for this, let me just go for simple polygon mesh and just create like 5 or 10. and use like mountain. Okay, and it's up to you how you want, make it some rough edges. Okay, and just use transform node and just, so these are the like, so I'm going to go for this transform node and just I'm going to use very low frames like 150 frames. So go to like something like 10 or 11, just decrease this value, alt shift alt click to add keyframe and go to 120 or something, then just grow this value so that it can cover all the nodes, all the geometry of logo. Okay, then again click add. So now you can see it goes like this. Control S and again use color node and go for like red color because I'm going to transfer red color. So now we have our basic transfer node selected. Now we are going to transfer this color to this node. So if you transfer like directly, then it will not retain these color values. So I'm going to use solver node. So let's just use solver. Okay, connect this one here, second one here, go to solver node, open this, and we have like second node for color transfer and we want previous node. So use attribute transfer node. So first this one, second node this one, available. Okay, and we want to transfer color and just use distance threshold, very low values, and use very low blend values, like almost sharp. So now if you play, see, now you can see it has this colors. So come outside, now you can see it's retaining all these colors. So I think there is let's just use 2 sample count. Okay, so we can use a little higher this blend node. So this is covering all the values, and always if you have like very small this, you can always increase this so that you have very, see, now it has transferring all the colors. Now we can like delete which is black colors nodes. So delete by expression point and $CR and just less than 0.1. Okay, now we have only this value. So now we have these values. So next is copying these icicles to these. So just use copy to point node. So we have these points and this one here. So if I directly copy this, it's like only copying these, but we want like growing kind effect. So I'm going to use copy to stamp this value. So in here it has some other controls also we can use. Okay, so it's now going this like. Now we want to like grow these points when they form, so we have to create these template attributes and use stamp input. Now we can create these values so that we can control these from our colors. So for that, let me just create a simple expression. So let's just use pt red, and here we can use like $CR for red color, and for the stamp input which is growing, so we are going to go for this carve node and use here. So for this, let's just use simple expression which is stamp bracket, then double inverted commas dot backslash copy. This is copy 1, so use copy 1, then use forward slash double and dot and double commas, then use which is pt red comma bracket 0 and close. So I think this is stamp double comma copy. Okay, I think this one is comma. Okay, now it has correct expression. So now it will like grow these values. See, now it is growing. These values, and you can use this template. See, now you can see they are like growing. And for like randomizing these attribute scale and all that, use here at this node, use the attribute randomize and all that nodes. So hit Control S. Let me just use attribute randomize, and we can use p scale, and for varying these values, so let's test for 0.6 to 1.5. They have like this varying size. Now we need orientation, so we can use orient mode. Again, use attribute randomize, use this one, and again just use orient. Okay, and it has quantition which is 4 dimensions. So if we go like this, now you can see it has varying icicles kind of structures. Okay, so these are like basic parameters. If you have like very large or very big logo, just use very low values so that it has very these kind of numbers. Okay, so for resample, if I feel like it has very low inputs value of points, so let me just increase it little higher, and go for reset the simulation. You can see these values are growing. And for another variation, let me just use another same, copy this solver and same copy this, or we can't use this. So for this we have like these. Then we can use like another copy to point node, and we can use sphere and just use polygon and just use 5, 6 something, and use mountain to give it some random, and connect this. So it has like something like this, and you can always decrease this value, or maybe 2. Okay, now we have like 2 these values, so merge these values. Okay, and use normal, like if we hit, and if you don't want these colors, you can always decrease or delete these. And after that, use VDB from polygons. So just come to a little bit higher frames. Okay, now we have like these. So come to here. So it has some decent attributes, okay, like this. And we can use like VDB smooth to smooth out these values. Okay, it will give you something like this. And if you want, we can use VDB reshape to reshape these mesh. So we can like offset these or decrease these if you want, like this. And then you can convert this to mesh. Polygons. So it has this kind of structures, and use adaptivity so that it can lower these polygons. Then combine this with the original mesh, which is this one. So again use merge node. So let me just use this node here, and it doesn't have normal, so let me just use normal. Okay, now it has like these icicles kind of, and then use null object to go for this output. So now we have this icicles forming. You can cache out if we have like very heavy mesh, okay, and then you can create materials for these to render out. So let me just create simple lighting. Let's create new camera, and I'm using very simple lighting setup, which is SDRI lighting. So let me just go for tone spherical. And let me just use, you can use high contrast images, these images, anything which is look good. Okay, I think I have used this one. Yes, I have used this one. And for material, just create material network, and let me just create two materials, which is one is ice material and one is your logo material. So this one is ice and this one is logo. So let me just use some preset here. Let me just use silver blurry, and for ice let me just use ice or water. Okay, so let me just decrease this its reflection, and I can always increase these values. So come to rig geometry, and this one is like logo material, so let's just use material and add logo material. And for this icicles, let's just use ice material. So select this and just use ice. Okay, now we have make these settings. Let me just use RTX, it will be a little bit faster. And I don't want save. Okay, let me just decrease this threshold. And okay, now we can look at these numbers or these. Okay, now you can see it has these icicles kind of structure. Okay, so for detailing you can use lower these VDP values, or you can always go for different structures. So I think it has very low lighting, so I can increase these light, not too much, a little bit, and always adjust this ice parameters, and don't want too much of these. And you can always lower this fog multiplier. Okay, now you have like these icicles. If you want more close these, so you can always increase scatter values for higher density mesh or higher density, this one. So again it is coming here, so I think I have to use same node here. So can delete this. And for I used simple sphere node, sphere light, which is this one, and I think I have used very small radius and placed on its eye position, something like this. And color is again red because it's a dragon. So now you can see it's like something like this. and you can always adjust these textures. So in my examples I have used very different textures with for these and high glossy values. See this kind of, and eyes is also like this. So now you can go for, see, so if it grows very like fast, so if it grow like very fast or something like that, you can go and adjust these values for line length and all that. I think its length is very small, that's why it's growing very fast. So if I go to this line section and if I increase its length like 2, and now if we can go, see, now you can see they are growing. See, okay. You can always adjust these values. So there you have it, your eye skills growing kind of effect. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and in few days I'm going to enable YouTube community section which you can join so that it can support this channel. So wait for these and other tutorials. So goodbye and have a good day.